This is the story of a man who was part of the Kargil war, but is now fighting to make ends meet.
इतना कारगिल में काम करने का वहाँ से करने से हमारे कहाँ रोल है, मैं ऑटो चला रहा हूँ.
This is the story of a 38-year-old man with no prior medical history, who just died at work one day.
Maximum a nice tablet or Crocin tablet, kabhi bukar hua. Can't see, that's all. Such type person can go away like that.
This is the story of a so-called minority, seldom spoken of.
हमको एक ही बार निकाल कर सड़क पे फेंक दिया गया.
About a gaping black hole in the law of the world's largest democracy.
हमें 10 साल हो गए लड़ते हुए, कोर्ट कचहरियों में भी लड़ रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट के साथ भी लड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें कभी भी कोई इंसाफ नहीं मिला.
The story of a system found wanting of integrity, and the story of people found wanting of a system.
आपके पास मेरे क्या लेकर के आए? जब तक मेरा कत्ल नहीं हो जाएगा, जब तक मेरे लोग सुसाइड नहीं कर लेंगे घर में, तब मैं आपके पास आऊँगा. क्या मतलब है इसका?
This is not the tale of a recession-struck economy, or of layoffs and kickbacks. It's about you, and what could happen if one day your employer decided to stop paying you your salary.
जो हमारी सैलरी है 19 महीने की पेंडिंग है, जो आज तक हमें नहीं मिली.
And lastly, it's about the law that sits silent on the moral bankruptcy of such employers. In the world's second fastest growing economy, Voice of India and Panwire, two stalwart companies, were chosen as case studies. They contributed to the monumental rate of industrialization and profits, representing the stupendous growth and development of India. Voice of India was a state-of-the-art Hindi news channel set up by Triveni Media Limited in June 2008. A hugely successful startup was followed by the launch of 5 regional channels within a few months of going on air. The future looked dazzling.
When I joined Voice of India, it was a big setup. It had very huge stake in the market in terms of shaking a lot of media channels. It got the best probably out of a lot of channels, had the best people on board. I would say that probably the best in terms of the technical team they had, and yes, editorially also they had a very strong set of people.
Amazing. When you entered the premise, it was just the perfect place to be. It was short of dream come true. I mean, other than becoming a hero, I was pretty much there in media and showbiz. It was perfect. Everything was just beautiful. Absolutely.
Because it started off with a bang. We got the award for the best debutant and everything. And we had not just hope, but we were like, in next 3-4 months, we are the #1 channel.
मुझे लगता है कि जितने भी लोग मीडिया में उस वक्त काम कर रहे थे, सभी लोग चाह रहे थे किसी भी तरीके से ये नौकरी छोड़ दें अगर हम, और त्रिवेणी में अगर नौकरी मिल जाती है वॉइस ऑफ इंडिया में, तो एक बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट होगी. पहले जो 3-4 महीने थे हमें लगा भी ऐसा कि हमने कुछ अचीव कर लिया है. जिस तरीके का ऑफिस बनाया गया था, अंदर जाए तो बंदा ये सोचता था कि वहाँ पे बात किस तरीके से की जाए.
Their work setups were larger than life, and everyone was in awe of the establishment. The employees believed they were part of a revolution and were partners in the growth of the organization. The other company in question, Panwire, a public sector telecom giant, followed a similar trajectory. Set up in 1975, Panwire was one of the few profit-making public sector enterprises, often stated as the best example of how government enterprises should in fact be run.
Panwire was the most exciting career anybody could have. Not a single person I remember in my time who wanted to leave Panwire and join the competition. In fact, there was hardly any competition at that time for Panwire, because we had complete command and control over the manufacturing units all over the country. We had defense and police as our main customers.
81 से और 93 तक ये कंपनी बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक चलती रही. उसके बाद पेपरों में आया, मीडिया में आया और कंपनी ने पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखा। और 1993 तक ये कंपनी काफ़ी ऊंचाइयों को छू गई। और जब पैसा आ गया तो हमारी मैनेजमेंट ने इसके शेयर फ्लोट किए। जो 10 रुपये का शेयर था 490 रुपये तक इस गया और वर्करों को भी 200 शेयर मिले थे। वर्कर भी खुश थे कि भाई हमारे शेयर की वैल्यू इतनी है और हमें काफ़ी बेनिफिट होगा।
तो देखते ही इतनी फैल गई ये कंपनी की पूछो मत। जैसे टाइटैनिक जहाज़ है, इतनी बड़ी कंपनी बन गई है हमारी पनवायर। इसका देशों विदेशों में नाम होने लगा।
Has total orders in hand in excess of 118 crore rupees. The reserve today stand at a very healthy 3.5 times the equity base. With such strong financial foundations, a brilliant future awaits Panwire and you.
It started with like a flight of Concorde, you know, we just cruising ahead. That was there for first 10 days. And then I realized that this is not Concorde. This is probably a Belgadi, which you call a bullock cart. And finally, it was no gold bullock cart, nothing. We were all walking on the street together after 6 months.
In both Panwire and Voice of India, the grand beginnings and the dreams were short-lived. The employers played dirty, and overnight, the lives of the employees changed.
When things started becoming bad, they didn't know which month salary is coming when.
पहले तो हमें 25 तारीख को सैलरी मिल जाती थी, लेकिन फिर 5 को मिलनी शुरू हो गई, फिर 10 को मिलनी शुरू हो गई, फिर किसी महीने 28 तारीख को मिलनी शुरू हो गई। तो इस तरह से डिले होता रहा।
So people used to rush like as if कि कोई सब्जी बट रही or something. Go to the council apartment and today you'll get 4,000 rupees, today you'll get 1,000 rupees.
Salary is something you work for the whole month. You work for what? For your salary. And salaried person has to be dependent on only on salary. Otherwise it's like
भूखे मर रहे हैं बच्चे। अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़ते थे, अब गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में पढ़ा रहे हैं क्योंकि उनकी फीस नहीं दे रही।
What companies project as a series of bad business decisions are often actually a calculated misappropriation of funds. Business as it is functions normally. There are new recruitments and new orders and no apparent reason for failure. But then salaries start getting delayed, first by days and then by months at a stretch. What the employees think is a turbulent passing phase turns out to be a permanent state of non-payment of salaries.
I think for the last 1.5 years, I didn't get my salary, and we worked without salary for 1.5 years.
जो हुआ सो टॉप मैनेजमेंट में हुआ और ब्यूरोक्रेट्स में हुआ, गवर्नमेंट की वजह से हुआ, पर हमें जो मतलब उसकी सज़ा हमें भुगतनी पड़ी। ना ही हमें दूसरी कंपनी ने जल्दी किसी ने नौकरी दी, क्योंकि हम एक तो ओवर एज हो चुके थे। ऐसी स्टेज पे ले आके हमारा फ्यूचर कंपनी ने इसने ख़राब किया।
कमाने वाला घर में कोई नहीं सर। बच्चे इतने अच्छे स्कूलों में पढ़ते थे सर। मेरी लड़कियां थी 2, एक लड़का है सर। फिर मैंने उनको मतलब टाइम के पहले ही शादी कर दी लड़कियों की। तो बेटे को इतने अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़ा रही थी सर, उसको भी मैंने ऐसे ही स्कूल में डाल दिया। अब उसका सारा कैरियर ख़राब है।
Employees and their families are constantly vulnerable to such exploitation by employers. The Indian Constitution does not have a definitive law or provision in its testament to protect employees from such basic injustices. A peek into the legal intricacies leads to some shocking revelations. There are 2 legal procedures available to the common man to fight for his salary. The first option is to file a civil suit based on breach of contract. The second is to appeal in the Labour Tribunal to grant protection under the Payment of Wages Act.
If the cause means that it has to be taken to the court, with the backup of cases, yet another case which is possibly very important to me, however maybe not so important to the rest of the world, is not something that is easy to record.
तो कोर्ट में जाते हैं तो वहाँ डेटें मिलती हैं, इंसाफ नहीं मिलता। डेट लेके 2-2 महीने 3-3 महीने की डेट, हमें 10 साल हो गए। हमने लगातार चेन हंगर स्ट्राइक बलौनगी चौक पर रखी कि हम ये पंजाब की एंट्री है, कोई तो यहाँ से गुजरेगा, किसी को तो हम पे तरस आएगा और हमारे कंपनी की रिवाइवल के बारे में और हमारे फ्यूचर के बारे में कोई सोचेगा। लेकिन किसी भी मिनिस्टर ने, किसी ने भी, सब यहाँ से लाल बत्तियों में निकलते थे, देख के और निकल जाते थे।
मैंने करियर की शुरुआत की थी, उस ज़माने की बात है, 96 मई। उस समय की बहुत अच्छी कंपनी थी TBI। लेकिन उस कंपनी का असर भी वही हुआ जो अभी BOI का हुआ है, कंपनी बंद हो गई। सैलरी की बात की गई, कोई सैलरी नहीं। अक्टूबर 1999 केस चलाया गया लेबर कोर्ट में, सिविल केस आज तक चल रहा है, तारीख पर तारीख पर तारीख।
As of July 2009, 53,000 cases are pending with the Supreme Court, 40 lakh with the High Courts, and 2.7 crores in the lower courts. Besides, going to the civil court requires the employee to pay a certain percentage of the amount claimed upfront as court fee. Apart from paying the lawyer's fee for as many years as the case may take to reach a conclusion. For an employee who is fighting to get the salary rightfully due to him, this battle ends even before it can begin.
11 साल हो चुके हैं, अभी और तारीख का इंतजार है।
It has been said that justice delayed is justice denied. In this context, it is important that concerted cooperative efforts are made by the government, the judiciary, and the Bar Association to deal with the mounting arrears in our courts.
Whatever may the Parliament have desired, whatever the Supreme Court may desire, but it is next to impossible for a worker to get his dues in the system as it exists today.
Strangely, in this country, if you take a legal action, you are the one who's actually treated as a culprit, and you become a victim of the legal complications. And that's probably the reason why these guys who fraud you, who cheat you, they have all the money to invest with the lawyer, but not in the people.
They know that the only remedy that these people have is by way of going to court, and in the court it will take them too long. Eventually they'll get frustrated because of all this harassment and will be forced to settle.
The second legal option is to go to the Labour Court. One can file a case under the Payment of Wages Act 1936, which was enacted to ensure workers covered under it were firstly paid the wages due to them, and secondly within a certain period of time.
No wage period should be more than 1 month. The workers are to be paid salary by 7th of the next month after they have worked for 1 month. So these are the basic provisions under the Act. So this it ensures that no unauthorized deductions are made from the salary of employees.
On reading the fine print in the Payment of Wages Act, it is learnt that as per the 2007 amendment, the Act only protects those who earn 10,000 rupees or less per month. So what happens to employees who earn more than 10,000 rupees per month? Their only course of redressal loops back to having to file a civil suit.
Of course, there are workers who are getting much more than 10,000 rupees, but majority of them are getting. So in big companies where workers are getting more than 10,000 rupees, I don't think there is much of a problem. Companies, they do pay wages in time if they have to get good work from workers.
Are the law and its executors blindfolded by the misconception that a company that pays a salary of more than 10,000 rupees a month to its employees is always sincere in its intentions?
Even under the Payment of Wages Act, you can go to the lower court, but the proceedings in the lower court take a long time. Thereafter, there are appeals, usually to superior bodies, to the Labour Tribunal or to the High Court and so on. And the result is that this whole court process usually takes decades. And those workmen are not able to get any effective relief.
In media, we raise the voice for each and every one, but when it comes to our own issues, we are nowhere. And after not getting salary for 8-9 months, you don't have money to fight in the courts.
Even those who are earning more than 10,000 can't really approach the regular civil court or the high court because, as I said, it's very expensive, takes too long, it's not really an effective remedy.
Leave the salary aside, they did not pay the provident fund also. The provident fund which they deducted from employee and the part which the employer was supposed to deduct, deposit, even that was not paid.
The system of Provident Fund is designed to provide financial security to the employee on retirement. If the employer does not pay his share of the Provident Fund, the magnitude of deceit defeats the purpose of the provision itself.
TDS की बात करें, सैलरी स्लिप में मेंशन किया जाता है कि हाँ हर महीने आपका इतना TDS काटा जा रहा है। वो TDS जाना है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट के पास, ठीक है। आप NSDL पर अपने अकाउंट में चेक करते हैं तो कोई पैसा उसमें नहीं जमा किया हुआ है। इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट से चेक करते हैं तो उनकी अलग दलील है। और ये पूरे सिस्टम का फ्लॉ, कहीं ना कहीं मुझे पूरे सिस्टम का फ्लॉ नजर आता है।
Unfortunately, the law of the land, at least in India, I don't know about other countries, says that the onus lies on the employee and not the employer to ensure that the deducted TDS reaches the government coffers. So actually you're paying out of your pocket to the government for something that you never earned. Now, as a working class person and not a business class person, where do I rough up and cuff up all that additional money to give to the government? Obviously, the government is penalizing a person who's paying white money, who's being paid in white money and is paying TDS upfront on it, and it has had to pay it twice, once to the employer who's deducted it and once again to the government.
अपना ही कमाया हुआ PF नहीं मिल रहा है, अपनी ही ग्रेजुटी नहीं मिली, अपना ही सुपर एनुएशन नहीं मिला, हमें अपने ही अलाउंसेस नहीं मिल रहे, अपनी ही सैलरीज नहीं मिली जो इतने सालों से हमें, मतलब 2000 से हमारा जो ब्लॉक पड़ा है सारा कुछ।
In some cases, companies make their share of money by not paying their employees and then file for liquidation. Research shows that, like in the case of Panwire, nearly 15,000 employees of 13 loss-making public service undertakings have not received their salaries. The pending salaries chalk up to 88.53 crore rupees. These numbers are just a small sample of numerous such cases that are affecting thousands of families across the country.
There was no money for the cars in the office also. Why? Because our employer told us that there's no money for fuel. But then we used to see his wife in BMW SUV. We used to see him in Mercedes S-Class. And we used to see his brother in BMW 7 Series car. And all three of them not coming together in one car but in different cars. Then we used to wonder, who is not having money here?
लेकिन जो बैंकें हैं जिन्होंने 100 करोड़ या 50 करोड़ अपना पैसा कमाने के लिए लगाया था, उनको पैसे मिल रहे हैं। लेकिन जिन वर्करों ने अपना खून पसीना बहा के इस कंपनी को एक ब्लू चिप कंपनी और वर्ल्ड के एक नक्शे में ला के खड़ी कर दी, वो वर्कर आज भूखे मर रहे हैं, सड़क पे घूम रहे हैं।
In the case of Panwire, there were workers who had been deployed in Kargil to ensure that the communication system functioned smoothly and India does not lose the battle to Pakistan. They served the nation with their heart and soul, upholding the reputation of the country. But the companies they served, and subsequently the judiciary of their land, betrayed them.
मैं इसमें अच्छी जॉब करता हूँ, कारगिल में जाता था। आज मेरा सफ़र ये है, मैं ऑटो चला रहा हूँ और बच्चे पा रहा हूँ। ऑटो भी 200 रुपये मार्केट में, भूखे मर रहे हैं बच्चे।
तो देश का क्या होगा? एक तरफ हमारी कंपनी देश की रक्षा के लिए अपने वर्करों की जान खतरे में डाल रही है, वर्करों को वहाँ जा रहे हैं अपनी जान पर खतरा मोल लेके, और दूसरी तरफ गवर्नमेंट ये कर रही है कि इस कंपनी को बंदी कर दो।
उसके बाद मकान से तो हम घर से तो बेघर हो गए, उसके वाइफ को टेंशन होगी, ब्रेस्ट में प्रॉब्लम होगी, उसका इलाज चलने लग गया, बेटी टेंशन उनसे बेटी फेल होगी, बेटा फेल हो गया, तो मेंटली अपसेट हो गए। घर में खाना आता है, फिर सैलरी एक दिन में मिले तो आदमी क्या करेगा?
इससे तो बेटर है कि सुसाइड करें, मरें या क्या करें।
8 cases of suicides by employees have been identified in the case of Panwire after the company went silent and stopped paying salaries. All this while the law is a mute spectator and unjust employers have a field day.
मैंने 22 साल इस कंपनी में काम किया है, 22 साल में हमने इतनी डेथ नहीं देखी, लेकिन आज जब 10 साल हुए हैं तो 52 बंदों की डेथ होगी हमारी। कोई सुसाइड से मरे हैं, कई बीमारियों से मरे हैं। उस डेथ का जिम्मेदार कौन है? वर्कर जाए तो जाए कहाँ, किसके आगे रोए?
झूठ, झूठ और सिर्फ झूठ। अब जाहिर सी बात है, अगर आप सैलरीड आदमी की बात करते हैं जिसका सोर्स ऑफ इनकम एक है, उसी इनकम पर आप अगर उसी सोर्स पर अगर आप अटैक कर देते हैं तो फिर तो उसके हाथ पैर टूट जाएंगे।
आज हमारे वर्करों की हालत ये है कि भूखे मरने के लिए मोहताज हैं। बच्चों की एजुकेशन ख़त्म हो गई, जो सपने थे वो ख़त्म हो गए। बच्चों को कोई डॉक्टर बनाना चाहता था, कोई इंजीनियर बनाना चाहता था, कोई कुछ बनाना चाहता था, लेकिन कंपनी बंद होने से वो सब के सपने टूट गए।
It has been bad. It's been almost 12 years. The career is on a slump. Since the family didn't take it well, so I even got divorced, missed my kids.
तो यही है कि इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए। अगर गवर्नमेंट ने जिम्मेवारी ली है, बाहर की कंट्रियों में ऐसा नहीं होता, लेकिन यहाँ इंडिया में तो सब अपना अपना सोच रहे हैं कि बस वोट लो और जीतो और बेवकूफ़ बनाओ पब्लिक को।
There is a committee installed, and then committee has a super committee installed, and that is sent to a review board, and that board takes care of that report, and it's a 30-volume report and keeps going up and down. By the time the guy has died, or even his children would have died, it will never work like that. So where is the justice? It's rightly said, if justice delayed, justice denied.
There is a pervasive feeling today in our country that while petty cases get tackled quickly, the big fish often escape.
Unless we are able to devise a system, an adjudicative system, which can function quickly and efficiently, and within a few months the workman or the employee is able to get relief, until then we will still be faced with a situation where a corrupt management of a company, of a public sector corporation, of any government body can continue to frustrate workmen or whistleblowers from effectively complaining against their corrupt acts.
As the story unfolds, trust is betrayed, legal norms are flouted, and the system is left spineless. But when it costs the life of an honourable man, only then can the aftermath of the destruction be measured in real terms.
Some fear, something was there, and I could see, on his face that stress, was sort of slowly, killing him. 8 o'clock when boys were leaving, 2 boys, they saw him and they said, "What Bhaiya is doing in the car?" He went and sat in the car maybe, and his eyes were open, and he was sitting very comfortably like this in the car, very comfortably. And doctor says, "Sorry ma'am, he was brought dead." My poor son, "Papa, I don't want anything, don't want any gifts, come back."
It's very special. We miss him.
I look very normal to people. People said, "Oh, Bhabhi is very strong." I have to be strong. But have they seen me crying alone? No. Have they seen me suffering alone? No. Like fool, I come and check the doors. I know it's locked. I know nobody is going to come inside.
He was a happy man. He was very happy with his wife. He was very happy with his kid. Not just his job, because he was very happy in whatever he does. But he was not being paid for it. And nobody is there to take care of his family right now. Nobody. I think it's the company who is responsible for his death. There's a clause in Indian laws which is death due to negligence, or culpable homicide not amounting to murder. If I be the lawmaker, then I should book these guys who were running the company under these acts.
He had a physical death. People are daily dying. What death that is called, I don't know. People are daily dying.
What we really need is really fast-track courts to decide these issues of wages, administrative harassment of employees. Needs serious judicial reforms in this country.